I believe that this also featured a wet gap crossing side of the exercise. So can you talk a little bit about that? I mean, we hear a lot about the wet gap crossings in Europe, but this has got to be different. So, does the Army really, at this point, have what it needs for that? I mean, I know at least in Europe, the bridging capability and that type of thing kind of took a back seat for a while, and the Army is looking.
Well, there's rivers everywhere.
There's rivers everywhere. There's lots of water where you are.
And there's a fair amount of water where we are, right? So what I would say is the joint forcible entry by air, fixed wing air, by rotor wing air, and by amphibious assault was in itself a form of a wet gap crossing where we had to really conduct a lot of the shaping operations at levels above the operational level. So I think the lesson from that was you really, in order to conduct multi-domain operations at multiple echelons, you really do have to have the enabling capabilities on the front end of doing an operation that complex. Secondly, in terms of bridging, yes, I mean, there's mountains and rivers where we are too. Korea has a number of bridges that they're going to need for their wet gap crossings, and they're practicing that all the time. Mm-hmm. I do think that in the warfighter, it's a command post exercise. So what's really important is the planning, synchronization, and coordination that has to go into that effort. Yes. And then the logistics, the fires, the maneuver, the protection, the sustainment capabilities that are needed to continue the momentum. And so we do learn what the requirements are for number of bridges, types of bridges, and then candidly what type of equipment we bring in there to navigate once we're on very compartmentalized and difficult terrain that has both restrictive terrain from large urban areas to mountains to rivers to jungle. And so I think that is really important for our staffs to understand before we actually put forces forward.